God's sake! Shut up!
What is his sorrow?
It's all his fancy, that. This mock turtle hasn't got any sorrow, you know. This young lady here, she wants to know your history, so she does.
When we were little, we went to school in the sea.
Oh, absolutely.
The master was an old turtle. We used to call him Tortoise.
Why did you call him Tortoise if he wasn't one?
We call him Tortoise because he taught us. Very dull.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, asking such a simple question.
But how many hours a day did you do lessons?
10 hours the first, 9 the next, then 8.
What a curious plan.
That's the reason they're called lessons, stupid. Because they listen from day to day.
Then the 11th day must have been a holiday.
Of course it was.
Not very bright, are you?
No.
Where are you? Where have you gone?
Either the well was very deep or she fell very slowly. For she had plenty of time as she went down to look about her and to wonder what was going to happen next.
It's my turn now. Mine. And when you've got your ball through that tube, aim for this one over here. You've got a lovely shot. If you dare touch that ball, Edith. Edith! Part. But you're a terrible fuss, Lorena. What difference does it make? That's how I sing it, so there. Then you don't sing it right. Don't say don't, Edith. Say do not. It is vulgar to say don't. But you said it. I did not.
Yes, you did, Alice.
Why are you such a know-it-all, Lorena?
Well, I like that. Seems to me you're the know-it-all around here.
Should, would. Come on, then. What's the difference? She don't know. Don't say don't. Don't. That's how Mr. Dodgson says it. Don't.
You'll get stuck like it, Alice.
He says I'm a wistful little beggar girl.
Who says that?
Mr. Dodgson, the mathematics tutor, Mother.
Mr. Dodgson said that.
Oh, don't fuss. He was talking about photography, Mother. I'm to pose for my picture.
He has photographed Tennyson, you know.
Half a league onward. All in the valley of death, rode the 600.
Yes, Alice, don't show off. We all know the charge of the Light Brigade.
I don't. But Tennyson was quite rude to poor Mr. Dodgson. You didn't know that, did you?
What do you mean, Alice? Rude?
Did he make fun of his stutter?
Be quiet.
Well, Tennyson told his guests that he often dreamed long passages of poetry. Then he turned to poor Mr. Dodgson, who had scarcely said a single word.
Do you know?
Mr. Dodgson told me, of course. And Tennyson turned to Mr. Dodgson and said, "You, I suppose, dream photographs."
Mr. Dodgson seems to confess a remarkable number of things to you, my dear.
Oh, yes. Mr. Dodgson talks to me a lot.
So it seems.
He says that every man should have someone he can trust his secrets with.
Trust, Alice.
But why on earth should he say that to you?
Because he loves me, of course.
He loves us all, Mother. Each and every one of us.
No, Alice. You must try to keep quite still.
Oh, dear. Mamma says that's impossible.
Oh, she does she?
You know how very tiresome mothers can be. She says I'm a fidget, a perpetual fidget.
I shouldn't worry too much about it, Alice. I like you exactly the way you are.
Do you, Mr. Dodgson? Really and truly?
Alice.
Mr. Dodgson?
I wouldn't change one hair of your head. Dreamchild.
I wish this could go on forever and ever.
Perhaps it will.
Nonsense, Mr. Dodgson. Nothing lasts forever. Not on this earth, anyway.
Oh, but it does, Mrs. Little. It does last forever. At least if you're rowing, it does.
Nevertheless, Mr. Duckworth, we have to be back at the deanery an hour before dinner.
Oh, Mama, don't talk about going home yet.
Don't say don't.
Dear me, no. We haven't had our tea and cakes yet. Very nice cakes, too. Though I do think we ought to find a nice hayrick with some shade soon. Very soon.
What are you doing? Alice, apologize at once. How dare you? What a terrible thing to do.
But he was looking at me.
A cat can look at a queen, you know.
Looking at you, Alice? Really, I don't know what you mean. Be quiet, Edith. Say you're sorry at once.
No, it doesn't matter.
Dear Mr. Dodgson, I'm sorry. I was only playing.
Of course.
And to show you how really, truly sorry I am, Mr. Dodgson, you shall have my prettiest handkerchief to dry your poor face.
Thank you.
Don't be foolish, Alice. I'm quite sure Mr. Dodgson has a much more sensible handkerchief of his own.
Yes, of course. Got big white spots on it. It was time for Alice to have some tea. She saw a table set with cups and saucers and plates. Under a tree, the Hatter, who was quite mad, and the March Hare, equally mad, of course, were already there, having their tea. A dormouse was sitting between them. Well, I say sitting. In fact, he was fast asleep. The other two were using it as a cushion.
A what? A cushion?
A cushion.
How very uncomfortable for the dormouse. Of room.
There.
Plenty of room.
Have some wine.
I don't see any wine.
There isn't any.
Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
Well, it wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
I didn't know it was your table. Stayed for a great many more than 3.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
Lovely. Riddles. I believe I can guess that.
Do you mean you can find out the answer to it?
Exactly so.
Then you should say what you mean.
I do. At least, I mean what I say. That's the same thing, you know.
Not the same thing a bit, you fool. You might just as well say, I see what I eat is the same thing as I eat what I see.
You might just as well say that I like what I get is the same as I get what I like.
What day of the month is it? What day of the month is it?
What?
You stupid half-wit, ugly old hag. You should be dead. Dead. Dead.
It's... Oh, dear. It's... I think it's the 4th.
The 4th? The 4th? 2 days wrong. 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 I'd told you butter wouldn't suit the works.
But it was the best butter. The best.
There must be some crumbs in it, shouted the Mad Hatter, shaking the watch very, very angrily.
I say, old chap, I really think we ought to eat something, you know. Time for the buns.
What a funny watch, said Alice. Why?
It tells the day of the month and not what o'clock it is.
Meanwhile, to wake the dormouse, the Hatter poured a little tea upon its nose. Hot tea.
Oh! Oh, God, love it, Doc! Hot! Hot! Oh, that would blow me up, matey! Oh.
There. Have you guessed the riddle yet?
No, I give up. What's the answer?
I haven't the faintest idea.
Nor I.
Well, I think you should do something more with the time than waste it in asking riddles that have no answers. Riddles that wasting time.
Do you mean you've never even spoken to time?
No. Ah, but she knows how to beat time when I play music.
That accounts for it, Alice. He won't stand beating, you know. He's a very sensitive fellow. In the story, that is.
Yes, Mr. Dodgson. In the story.
Am I keeping you?
Well, old chap, some of us think it's time we had some tea ourselves.
I'm so sorry.
I was so enjoying the Mad Hatter and the March Hare. I wish they were real.
When I was a little girl who followed a white rabbit and fell down a hole in the ground, I found a bottle which said drink of it. It made me very, very sleepy. But now that I am so much older, this thing might be different from
Who are you?
I hardly know, sir, just at present. At least, I know who I was when I got up this morning. But I think I must have changed several times since then.
What do you mean by that? Explain yourself.
I'm afraid I can't put it more clearly. Being so many different sizes in a day is very confusing.
It isn't?
Or perhaps you haven't found it so yet. But when you turn into a chrysalis...
Pooh to that.
Oh, you will one day. And after that, into a butterfly. I shall think you'll find it a little queer, won't you?
Not a bit.
Or perhaps your feelings may be different. All I know is it would feel very queer to me.
So you think you've changed, do you?
I'm afraid I am changed, sir. I can't remember things.
Can't remember what things?
I don't know. Perhaps there are things best not gone into, best forgotten. But my mother tore up all his letters to me.
What letters?
Mr. Dodgson's letters. Why should she want to do that? Unless there was something wrong. Something I can't bear to think about.
Then don't think about it, you silly old baggage.
But I don't. I mean, I didn't. With this journey out here, everyone asking things of me. The way I've used him. It's too bad.
Repeat. You are old.
Mrs. Hargreaves.
You are old.
You are old, Father William, the young man said, and your hair has become very white, and yet you incessantly stand on your head. Do you think at your age it is right? In my youth, Father William replied to his son, I feared it might injure the brain. But now that I'm perfectly sure I have none, why, I do it again and again. Oh, it's lovely, Mr. Dodgson. Lovely. The most exciting, the most wonderful thing that has ever happened. I shall read it again and again and again, and then I shall start at the last page and finish at the first.
I hope you will always cherish it, Alice. Dear, dear Alice.
I will, Mr. Dodgson.
Even when you're quite grown up, little Alice?
I said so, Mr. Dodgson.
Yes. Of course. I don't mean to doubt you.
It's only a book, isn't it, Mr. Dodgson?
Aren't you coming, boating? We aren't ready, you know.
Hurry up, Alice, or we go without you.
We'll meet you in the quad.
Shan't be long. It's only Mr. Dodgson here.
Righto.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dodgson, but I have to go now. Lorena is going on the river, and there's a nice young man called Reggie Hargreaves coming too. And he's a very good oarsman. He seems very fond of Lorena.
I brought you this book today because... Do you know why I chose today to give you the very first presentation copy of this book, Alice?
I have to rush, Mr. Dodgson.
It's exactly 1 year today since our trip up the river.
Lorena will be very impatient with me.
Well, you must hurry, my dear. You must hurry. Alice. I do so love to hear you laugh, little Alice.
Do you, Mr. Dodgson?
It's the nicest sound I know. Nitrate. Hope you'll always remember our little moments together, my dear. Time can blot out so many, many things.
Oh, I couldn't forget, not even if I tried.
Oh, but you will. When you grow up and perhaps one fine day come to marry.
And you can come to afternoon tea with my dear husband and me on Sunday afternoons. Do you like cucumber sandwiches, Mr. Dodgson?
Very much. Now, blind. Door.
Mr. Dodgson?
Have you thought about whom you might like to...
Mr. Dodgson.
marry?
Is this another game?
Oh, yes, I obviously am talking in riddles.
Lovely, I do so like riddles. That's what I said to the Mad Hatter. Or was it the March Hare?
You must take care never to lose your head, my dear.
That's the Queen of Hearts.
No, I'm
Off with his head.
Don't lose your head to the first spotted youth. Curl and pretty smile. 'Cause
I thought we were going to play a game.
Yes, dear.
Come on, then, Mr. Dodgson. Come on, then, Mr. Dodgson. I'm waiting. Alice is waiting. Sing me a funny song.
Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at. Up above the world you fly, like a tea tray in the sky.
Would you care for another scone, Hargreaves? I know how gigantic you sportsmen's appetites can be.
No, thank you, Mrs. Little. I had more than plenty already. Whoops.
And what about you, Baker?
No, thank you, Mum. I'm satisfied too.
Mr. Dodgson?
Yes, I think I could manage another scone. Thank you.
Of course. Please help yourself. Edith, come away from the water at once.
Ma, I'm tired of sitting still.
Sitting still is good for little girls.
You want to grow up as pretty as your sisters, don't you, Edith?
No, I don't. It is rather hot to sit still and do nothing but eat. Aye. It's vulgar to let the sun burn one's skin brown. We shall all look like Irish labourers.
God forbid, Your Honour.
Do you think there's need to bring the deity into it, Hargreaves?
A mere joke, Mr. Dodgson.
I'm sorry, sir.
Sure you are, and all and all.
Has everyone finished eating?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Good. Then we can entertain ourselves. Who would like to sing? Or to recite?
Mum, mayn't we just talk? Why don't you sing, Alice?
Yes, Alice.
Not now, Lorena. Later, perhaps.
I'm afraid I'm no good at singing.
Come on, Alice. Silence the birds.
Perhaps she doesn't want to sing, Hargreaves.
Mr. Dodgson can tell us a story instead.
That would be very nice.
Yes. Something out of your masterpiece. Oh, no, Lorena. We know it all off by rote. I read it all the time, Mr. Dodgson. It's lovely.
Would you like me to recite the song of the Mock Turtle?
Yes, please, Mr. Dodgson.
Quiet, everyone.
Will you walk a little faster, said a whiting to a snail. There's a porpoise close behind us, and he's treading on my tail. See how eagerly the lobsters and the turtles all advance. They are waiting on the shingle. Will you come and join the dance? Will you, won't you, will you, won't you, will you join the dance? Will you, won't you, will you, won't you, won't you join the dance?
Alice.
Can really have no notion how you can really have no notion how delightful it I'm sorry.
It was a very clever and funny poem, Mr. Dodgson. Lastly, she pictured to herself how the same little sister of hers would, in the aftertime, be herself a grown woman, and how she would keep, through all her riper years, the simple and loving heart of her childhood, and how she would gather about her other little children and make their eyes bright and eager with many a strange tale, perhaps even with the dream of Wonderland of long ago, and how she would feel with all their simple sorrows and find a pleasure in all their simple joys, remembering her own child life and the happy summer days.
And find a pleasure in all their simple joys, remembering her own child life and the happy summer days. In the little verses at the front of the story, Lewis Carroll, that is the Reverend Charles Dodson, said, "Alice, a childish story take, and with a gentle hand lay it where childhood dreams are twined, in memory's mystic band. Like pilgrims' withered wreath of flowers, plucked in a far-off land." At the time, I was too young to see the gift whole, to see it for what it was, to acknowledge the love that had given it birth. But I see it now, at long, long last. Thank you, Mr. Dodgson. Thank you.
What is his sorrow?
Ah, it's all his fancy, that. He hasn't got any sorrow. Oh, for God's sake, shut up.